What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 8 Monday Night Football. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. Okay guys, in this video, I'm going to give you my top DFS picks for this Monday Night Football showdown between the Tampa Bay Bucks and the New York Giants. Now, I just want to apologize for the echo here in my audio recording. That's going to be fixed soon. I'm in a new studio. It's wide open. Need to fill it up with some stuff to help out this audio recording. But don't worry, guys. I'm going to take care of that. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, NFL Week 8. Let's take a look at this Monday Night Football showdown between the Tampa Bay Bucks and the New York Giants. So at the quarterback position, I gotta go with Tom Brady from the Tampa Bay Bucks playing the New York Giants, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they're middle-of-the-pack defending opposing quarterbacks. Tom Brady has averaged 23.2 fantasy points per game on the season. He scored 40 fantasy points last game. He's projected at 19.9 fantasy points here tonight. He's 12,000 DraftKings salary. Vegas thinks there's going to be 45 points scored in this game, and they have the Bucks favored by 12.5. So I do worry a little bit that the Bucks get a big lead, and then they run the ball out with Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones. But most likely, Tom Brady has thrown those touchdown passes. It's a little bit like the Patrick Mahomes game versus the New York Jets. The Kansas City Chiefs blew out the Jets, but Patrick Mahomes had 5 touchdowns in doing so. So that could be the case here tonight. So I like Tom Brady here versus the New York Giants. Now, if you want to make a case for Daniel Jones, the only positive is that Vegas thinks they're going to be trailing by 12.5 points. So that's a passing game script. He might have to throw the ball all game long here. So he could end up having a decent game just because he's playing from behind. He's 9,200 DraftKings salary. He's only averaging 13.9 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 4.4 rush attempts per game. But he did score 23 fantasy points last game, only projected at 16.6 fantasy points here tonight because he's facing a tough defense in the Tampa Bay Bucks, who have the 3rd best defense overall and give up the 2nd fewest fantasy points versus opposing quarterbacks. So I'm probably going to stay away from Daniel Jones in this one. Okay, let's take a look at the running back position. I like Ronald Jones from the Tampa Bay Bucks playing the New York Giants, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they give up the 13th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Ronald Jones has averaged 15.7 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 15.7 rush attempts per game and 3.9 pass targets per game. He scored 11, 29, and 19 fantasy points in the last 3 games, projected at 13 fantasy points here tonight. He is 8,800 DraftKings salary, so he's the most expensive running back on the slate. And the problem with this pick is that Leonard Fournette is also in the backfield. Leonard Fournette got 11 rush attempts and 7 pass targets last game, actually outscored Ronald Jones with 16 fantasy points, and he's only 6,200 DraftKings salary. But on the positive side for the Tampa Bay running backs, they are favored by 12.5, so they should have the lead in this game. Most likely it's going to be a heavy running game once they get the lead, but it's going to be a shared backfield between Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette, so it's going to be hard to pick the back that's going to score the touchdown here tonight. So you can make a case for both Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette, and you can also make a case for Wayne Gallman from the New York Giants, although he's got a tough matchup here tonight. So Wayne Gallman is going to be the lead running back with Devontae Freeman out of this one. So he's probably going to get 15 touches or more in this game. He got 10 rush attempts and 5 pass targets last game. He scored 16 fantasy points. And he's only $5,200 DraftKings salary, projected at 9 fantasy points here tonight. But for only $5,200 DraftKings salary, if he's going to get 15 plus touches, he could get a goal line carry, get into the end zone, have a decent game on the ground, and easily hit value at that price tag. Now, it is going to be a passing game script, but he is involved in the passing game, so he'll be out there catching passes. So I also like Wayne Gallman here versus the Tampa Bay Bucks. Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all the tools for NFL, MLB is still going, NBA is right around the corner. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, let's take a look at the wide receiver position. I like Mike Evans from the Tampa Bay Bucks playing the New York Giants, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, but they give up the 9th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Mike Evans has averaged 14.1 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 5.6 pass targets per game. He's projected at 15.3 fantasy points here tonight. He's $10,800 DraftKings salary, so you're going to have to spend up for Mike Evans, but most likely there will be no Chris Godwin, which will make Mike Evans the primary target in this game. So I like Mike Evans here versus the New York Giants. Now, with no Chris Godwin, that also means Scotty Miller is going to be a factor here for the Tampa Bay Bucks. He got 9 pass targets last game, scored 26 fantasy points. He's projected at 11.7 fantasy points here tonight, and he's $8,600 DraftKings salary. So don't forget about Scotty Miller. Now, looking at the New York Giants wide receivers, I like Sterling Shepard, who's averaging 11.4 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 6 pass targets per game. He got 8 pass targets last game, scored 18 fantasy points. He's projected at 11.8 fantasy points here tonight, and he's $6,600 DraftKings salary. So this is going to be a passing game script for the New York Giants. So I'm probably going to play 2 wide receivers from the New York Giants here, and the rest of my team is going to be Tampa Bay Bucks. But I like Sterling Shepard here versus the Tampa Bay Bucks. Now, if you're looking for a value play here tonight, take a look at Golden Tate from the New York Giants. He's averaging 7.6 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 4.3 pass targets per game. His volume has kind of dropped off the past couple of games, but he did score 11 fantasy points off of 2 pass targets last game. And he's got a great matchup tonight versus Sean Murphy Bunting, giving up 0.51 fantasy points per route. So Golden Tate is projected at 7.4 fantasy points here tonight, and he's only $3,000 DraftKings salary. So in a passing game script, this guy's going to open up some salary in your lineup, and he could have a decent night here tonight. So I like Golden Tate here versus the Tampa Bay Bucks. Okay, moving on to the tight end position. There's 2 tight ends you can consider here tonight. The first one is Evan Engram from the New York Giants, averaging 7.9 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 6.3 pass targets per game. He scored 11 5 and 10 fantasy points in the last 3 games, projected at 10.4 fantasy points here tonight, and he's only $5,800 DraftKings salary. So this is another player that in a passing game script, he could be a factor. I like the fact that he got 9 pass targets last game, and he also got 2 rush attempts. He's still yet to put up a big fantasy game performance, but that could come here tonight. So I like Evan Ingram here versus the Tampa Bay Bucks. And the other tight end that I like, this guy's been on fire the past couple games. I like Rob Gronkowski from the Tampa Bay Bucks. He's averaging 8.9 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 5.1 pass targets per game. He scored 17 and 19 fantasy points in the last 2 games, getting 8 pass targets in both of those games. He's projected at 11.5 fantasy points here tonight, and he's $8,000 DraftKings salary. So it looks like Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski have found a pretty good rhythm in the past couple of games. So that could continue here tonight. So I like Rob Gronkowski here versus the New York Giants. If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NFL slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again and good luck.